The Nintendo Direct was this morning, their big E3 presentation, and a lot of people went into this with the mindset of Nintendo needing to quote-unquote save E3, which is a dumb thing to say, acting like E3 has been completely abysmal, act like a lot of other games haven't been announced elsewhere. A lot of good things hasn't happened, which, you know what, that's not fair, but that's besides the point. Let's talk about Nintendo. As a reminder, I always do these things live over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ProJared. So if you ever want to catch me live over there, it would mean a lot if you followed me over on Twitch. Also, subscribe to my gameplay channel, please. I do daily uploads over there. But anyway, let's talk Nintendo. Overall, Nintendo was good. It was quite good. And I really liked how they just kind of got right to it. Like, the first thing they did was the next Smash Fighter. Awesome way to start. Just not teasing it, not drawing out. It's like, boom, you want to know who the next Smash Fighter is? Here it is. It's Kazuya from Tekken. Great choice. I actually really like that. Since they already got Ryu, they already got Terry Bogard, like, why not add in Kazuya? Now Street Fighter X Tekken's finally happening. Or Tekken X Street Fighter, whichever one. It was a really fun trailer. They showed off all Kazuya's movesets really well. And I really liked the way they did the CG cutscene, making fun of Kazuya dropping Jin into the volcano. Only it's all different Nintendo characters. It was like a great way to start off. Very strong. I don't think Kazuya was such a character that everyone's like losing their crap over, but it's a good choice for Smash, and I do like that inclusion. After that, they went into some games that we already know about, basically saying this is also coming to Switch, like talking about the Life is Strange sequel, the Life is Strange collection, that's also coming to Switch in September. They also then showed off the Guardians of the Galaxy game that Square talked extensively about during their presentation, but they kind of showed it off here, just be like, yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy, also coming to Nintendo Switch, which, not gonna knock them for showing that when another company's already showcased it, but again, it's just one of those things where they kind of had to be like, yeah, this game is also coming to Nintendo Switch, but they didn't linger on it. Afterwards, they went into Worms Rumble, which I assume is a game already exists somewhere, but they announced it being on Switch. I actually really like the Worms game, but this is like a real-time shoot-'em-up one rather than just like the old team-based kind of strategy style, where it's all like you move in real time. All the team weapons, all the weapons were there and represented. Maybe it's fun, but kind of a weird thing to show off during an E3 presentation. Like, I feel like there could have been bigger and better things, but Worms Rumble is coming to Switch. Afterwards, they went into another new game announcement, which was a digital-only game. I actually missed the name of it. It was like Astria something or whatever. It's like an RPG with a very stylized anime look, reminding me a lot of like the old. Might be dating myself with this, but Odin Sphere on PS2. It reminded me a lot of that kind of art style, or that kind of like 2D animated look, but the art style was very much, gosh, I'm like blanking on all the names of the games. That one artist who did that one PlayStation Vita game, where it was just like the wizard with gigantic boobies and the barbarian lady with gigantic boobies and grotesque muscles. It was like that kind of art style. I wish they kind of showed more about that, but they said this year is another RPG coming in this September. I was like, oh, okay, that came out of nowhere. Wish you showed more, but it was fine. Another new game they showed off was 2 Point Campus from the same people who did 2 Point Hospital, which was a hospital management sim, only now it's like a college campus, so basically the same thing, only more about schools and colleges rather than a hospital, which is like, okay, that's fine too. And then it was collection time. It's the 20-year anniversary of, you didn't guess it, Super Monkey Ball. They're doing a remaster collection of Super Monkey Ball 1, 2, and 3, all coming to Nintendo Switch, which is like, okay, fine. It's called Banana Mania Collection. Super Monkey Ball, like, I enjoy those games, but I'm not gonna be so excited that I want to go out and buy a collection for it, or make me want to go out and buy a Switch for it, but there you go. Another HD collection coming to Nintendo Switch, and it's Monkey Ball. Afterwards, they finally went into some new stuff, which is great. First big one was a new Mario Party game called Mario Party Superstars. And it's a concept that I've been saying they should do for years now. It's a collection of all the best stuff from the N64 Mario Party games. All the mini games completely redone and remastered from Mario Party 1, 2, and 3. All the different boards you can play as from Mario Party 1, 2, and 3. Only, I don't know how updated they're going to be with like the current rule set, like the items or the different spaces you can go on. They did show Rosalina as a playable character, and there is going to be online play, which is probably why they just added it to Mario Party, Super Mario Party already on the Switch, because maybe they need to figure out how to not do online for Mario Party Superstars. I hope it's good. I mean, I feel like they tried this before with like the Mario Party Top 100 on 3DS, and it's been like, these are the best mini games, and they chose some like poopy ass garbage mini games. I hope that's not the case here. I hope they pick all the good ones. The mini games they did show were some of my favorite ones on the N64. Hopefully none of them where you got to rotate the analog stick until your hand just becomes a bone. But Mario Party Superstars, they announced it. It's coming this year in October. I do want to play it because I like the Mario Party games. And then to me, what I feel the biggest announcement that they had, the biggest surprise that they had throughout their entire Direct happened now, and that was the Metroid segment. And they said Metroid Prime 4 is still in development, and we're not going to show you anything about it. Which makes sense because, as reported, Metroid Prime 4 is having a lot of development issues, and they had to restart from scratch because of how poorly it's been going. But they just said, we're still working on it. But hey, check this fucking shit out. Boom! Metroid Dread. Do you all remember the Metroid Dread name? This was first mentioned like 20 years ago. Nintendo had this trademark for Metroid Dread, and people saw there's a new Metroid game coming. What's Metroid Dread? They've been holding on to it, and it's actually a thing now. They teased Metroid Dread in the first Metroid Prime game when like you scanned something. So people thought Metroid Dread was a thing for a while, and it is. More importantly, it's Metroid 5, which means it takes place after Metroid Fusion. So the Metroid storyline is finally continuing after Metroid Fusion. Metroid Fusion also came out in like 2002. So it's been a hot minute. I like that they're actually continuing the Metroid storyline. I got really excited for this one because it's 2D Metroid. Looks a lot like the Samus Returns remake on 3DS and that kind of style gameplay with some new tweaks in there. A lot of focus on this robot chasing after Samus called Emmy, which cool, but they've used this concept a couple of times already in the Metroid series, whether it's the SAX and Metroid Fusion or Dark Samus and Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. So like this concept of like a consistent threat chasing after Samus and causing some dread. It's like, okay, like they've done this concept. How is this one going to be any different? But they did show some new superpowers. I can't decide what I feel about Samus' suit. It looks good, looks really good, but I already missed the classic yellow. Maybe you'll get that back sometime in that game. Or maybe that's how they justify Samus suddenly not having any of your abilities or upgrades this time around. That's probably it. That's my guess. Some excuse that she can't use her old suit, so maybe that. I don't know. They did show like the suit having like some stealth capabilities by turning invisible, some like magnetic wall stuff where she would like hold on to stuff and the platform would move, or she would just like climb up the side of a wall. But it looked like great 2D Metroid style gameplay. I hope it's good. I'm glad it's not a Super Metroid remake. That game does not need to be touched. This is an all new and it looked really cool. And it's coming this year, October 8th. I'm glad it's that soon. That's like probably the most surprising thing, like it's this year. That is something that Nintendo did do consistently good with their entire presentations. A lot of stuff they showed, it's either coming, they either had dates for it this year or said it is coming this year. Only a handful of things weren't only slated for 2022. Afterwards, they went into, here's all reminders of all the different ports and collections coming up. For example, Just Dance 2022, that's coming to Nintendo Switch. The Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game is getting a port to Nintendo Switch. A reminder that Mario Golf Super Rush is coming out in Switch in like a week. They did show off a new Cruisin' game, Cruisin' Blast. I haven't thought about the Cruisin' series since Cruisin' USA and Nintendo 64. It was kind of hard to get excited over that. It didn't look all that great or interesting. It's just like another cruising game for like an arcadey style racer. Okay. Whatever. But they then get to show off another new game, another long-running franchise, and it was Warioware. A new Warioware game called Warioware Get It Together, where it's the same kind of Warioware mini-games, only the big thing is actually play as like a little Wario character moving around on the screen, and that's how you do the mini-games. And all of the other Warioware characters are going to be in it, and they all play differently. That's a really cool concept. So all the micro mini-games are all going to be there, but how you succeed at them is different depending on who you play as. Like that's such a cool concept. So all the mini games, but you can play them differently, and it's 2-player simultaneous play as well. It looked all right. That's neat. Like, I might check that out. I'm not gonna lose my mind over it, but it looked good. That's also coming out this year, coming out in September. So new Wario game. As much as I do like the Warioware games, I would also love to see like a new actual Wario game, like Wario Shake It, because Wario Shake It was so good. But that's besides the point. Then it went on to show off a little bit of Shin Megami Tensei 5. And I don't really know what you want me to say about it, because it sure does look like Shin Megami Tensei gameplay. Yup. Fusion seems to be a pretty big part of this game, where the main protagonist fuses with, I don't know if it was different monsters, a particular one. It had like a suit and long, like flowing hair, like monsters were fusing together. It's coming out this year in November. It's same kind of Shin Megami Tensei, like fight monsters, exploit their weaknesses to get extra actions, negotiate with them to try to get them to join your team. It's Shin Megami Tensei 5 gameplay. I mean, I'll probably play it because it's an RPG and I'm a slut for that, but it wasn't anything so mind-bogglingly new or exciting that I saw that I was gonna get really, really stoked about it, but I'm sure it'll be good. Announced another collection for Nintendo Switch, the Danganronpa Collection. Or it's a collection of Danganronpa 1, 2, and 3, now coming to Nintendo Switch sometime this year. Just another collection coming to Nintendo Switch. Cool. They did announce another new game after that, and that's another new Fatal Frame game. Cool, all right. It was called Fatal Frame, made in the Blackwater. No exact date other than it is going to be this year. For the show off the gameplay, looked good, looked cool, I like the style, but again, just it sure looked like Fatal Frame. They took a picture of a ghost and got like 600 points. I'm pretty sure off in the distance somewhere, I heard Professor Oak say, "You are close." Afterwards, they went into some, as they put it, some other games coming up or coming soon. Doom Eternal, getting DLC, Tony Hawk 1 and 2, remastered / collection on Nintendo Switch. They showed off a new game called Strange Brigade, which just looked like a 4-player, third-person shooter co-op, only you shoot mummies. It looked rough. It might be like from a smaller studio, and that was there's kind of space for it. I think they said that's available like today, and it didn't look all that special or exciting, but okay. They reiterated that Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope is coming to Nintendo Switch from 2022. They didn't really show anything new there that wasn't already shown off from Ubisoft, but just another reminder that Mario Rabbids stuff is happening. After that, bunch of new things though. Advance Wars is getting an HD remaster for the Nintendo Switch. And HD remaster is probably not the right word for it. It's like a reimagining, because they're not just taking the old pixel graphics and redoing them. It's all new. Like all the character models are now like 3D, like moving around the battlefields, all 3D. The different commanding officers were all now like full on like animations instead of just being like sprites. So I actually thought it looked really cool. I was really into the art style, and I do like Advance Wars quite a bit. It's Advance Wars 1 and 2, play through the entire stories. I guess they're just not going to talk about Days of Ruin on the DS at all. Too edgy. But it looked really good. I actually was really into it, and I do like the Advance Wars games, which, surprising, yeah. Again, not so cool that I'm like lose my mind and go buy a Nintendo Switch for it. It was called Reboot Camp, and I believe they said that's coming this year. But yeah, that was cool. My guess is they're hoping that does well to see if there's enough interest to continue the Advance Wars as a series. So then if that's something you want, you're gonna have to buy the game. And then after that, they ended with Zelda. Like, the end of our conference, like we're just gonna talk about Zelda stuff. First off, they showed off what the DLC is coming to Age of Calamity, which is showing off a lot of different weapons for a lot of the different characters. Like Link is getting a new Guardian leg nunchaku, is the best way I can describe it. A Guardian looks like it's going to be its own playable character. Zelda is getting the motorcycle DLC from Breath of the Wild. They showed off a lot of that, so if you're still playing Age of Calamity, which that DLC is coming out in like the next week or two, and then there's another DLC from from the past that they already announced with it when the game came out, and there's another DLC wave coming later. They remind everyone that Skyward Sword is coming out for the Nintendo Switch in July. Reminded everyone there, it's like, all right. And then, because this year is the anniversary for Zelda, they are doing a special anniversary Game & Watch. Probably not what people wanted to hear, but you know what? Still looks cool. They did the same thing with like the Mario Game & Watch, only they're also doing a Zelda one this year. Playable on that though is 3 Zelda games, Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and Link's Awakening. I will probably buy one and then never open it, but I think it's neat. I do want it and I do like it and I'm going to get it, but probably not the celebration that people were hoping for is my guess. And then finally, they showed off just a smidgen more of Breath of the Wild 2. And it went by pretty quick and they kind of teased and hinted a lot of new gameplay stuff. The big thing that I got out of it was it seemed like Link now has some sort of time manipulation with the Sheikah Slate. Like it seemed like he was doing some slow-mo and reverse in there, like the music was playing in reverse at one point. Link had some really long hair, by the way, like his little ponytail thing was like down, so he just had like shoulder-length hair and it was flowing. They also showed Link like becoming liquid or something and like going through like platforms or the floor or ceiling or whatever. They also showed that the sky is going to be a big part of it. Link was falling, just like in Breath of the Wild, or Skyward Sword, like falling from the clouds into different floating islands and different floating platforms and floating kingdoms. So those are going to be all new areas. So I wonder if a lot of it's going to be like the same world map as Breath of the Wild before. Tweaked and changed, of course, plus everything that's above it. That is coming in 2022. So probably like November 2022 will be Breath of the Wild 2. And that was it. Again, just smidgen. Overall, it was good. It was really good. I liked what they showed. The biggest surprise was Metroid Dread. I got the most excited over that. Am I glad they showed Breath of the Wild stuff? Yeah, absolutely, but it was not so extensive that like it was making me lose my mind. And it was a lot of stuff that we've already known about. Like we've already known about Breath of the Wild 2. They've already shown it before. This is just like more gameplay stuff. So I don't think that was the most exciting part of the conference. The most exciting part of the conference was Metroid Dread. The Advance Wars reboot was also like a nice surprise, but again, not mind-blowing. So overall, Nintendo's conference was good. Very, very good. Microsoft's was better. Nintendo overall grade, B+. Really, really good stuff. Microsoft got to show more, had more variety, and showed things more extensively. But the things that Nintendo show was like, you know, pretty par for the course for Nintendo stuff, but showed off really, really well. I did like it. I liked it a lot. But yeah, there you go. And that's your E3, everybody. I understand like a lot of people were frustrated at some things being shown or some things being lackluster. Like I watched the Capcom one and didn't talk about it because not really anything there worth talking about. A lot of people were mad at Capcom's because Capcom said exactly what they're going to show days before the presentation, which was Monster Hunter stuff, Resident Evil 8, and their like fighting game stuff. And then when it came to the press conference, they showed off Resident Evil 8, Monster Hunter stuff, and their fighting game stuff, and people got mad that there wasn't more. And I think that's something that was the general vibes. Like E3 is finally back, and people just wanted more, people wanted more, people wanted more. And I think everyone should try to remember all these game developers also kind of went through a thing last year. The same thing that affected all of us. That same disease was the same problem that everyone else had. So I think kind of reeling in those expectations and, I don't know, maybe give them a fucking break, yeah, it would be nice. So there you go. That's E3. If you haven't, be sure to check out all of the other ones. The Microsoft show was really, really good. Check out the Square Enix one. That was the worst one, not counting Gearbox. Gearbox doesn't, yeah, we're not counting Gearbox. That was not a show. I don't know what that was. We're not counting it. So be sure to check out those as well. Leave your comments down below. What was your big thing? What were you most psyched for? I would assume Metroid Dread. With a lot of these games, I'll probably stream them over on Twitch whenever they come out. So another reason to follow me over there. Or if I don't stream them on Twitch, I'll make a gameplay series of it over on my gameplay channel. But hey guys, it's been a while since I've done these, and I really appreciate everyone who took the time out of their day to watch me just ramble and talk about all the different E3 stuff and all the different E3 presentations. That means a lot. I really do appreciate it. And if it's your first time watching these, I hope you subscribe and like the video and all that. And thank you guys, and here's to the upcoming months of being a lot of really, really good games.